It's late at night, the house is quiet, everyone is asleep, and you are walking through a dark room you've walked through 1,000 times in daylight. And then, a creak. You freeze. Your heart jumps. For just a moment, you are absolutely certain that something is there in the corner. You reach for the light. The room floods with brightness. And of course, there's nothing. Just a chair, just a curtain, just the house. Sound familiar? Now here's the question almost nobody asks. If there was nothing there, then who did your brain just show you? Why does your mind insist on filling the darkness with shapes, sounds, and the feeling of being watched? Tonight, we're going to uncover the astonishing truth, and I promise you, by the end, you'll never fear the dark in quite the same way again. Because the monster in the corner was built by the smartest survival machine on Earth, your own brain. Let's start this video by killing the biggest myth. Many adults feel a quiet shame about this. I'm a grown person. Why am I still scared of a dark room? It's childish. It's weakness. If that's you, I want you to relax, because science says the exact opposite. Fear of the dark is not a flaw. It is one of the most sophisticated, finely tuned survival systems ever created. And the fact that it still works in you is proof that your brain is doing its job perfectly. Here's the truth that changes everything. Your brain did not evolve to show you reality. Your brain evolved to keep you alive. And those two goals, as you're about to see, are not always the same thing. To understand the dark, you first have to understand a secret about how you see all the time, even in broad daylight. You feel like your eyes work like a camera, capturing everything in front of you perfectly, exactly as it is. But that is an illusion. Your eyes actually send a messy, broken, incomplete stream of information to your brain. And your brain's job is to take those scattered scraps and instantly build a smooth, complete picture. By guessing, by predicting, by filling in the gaps using memory and expectation. Most of what you see right now is not coming from your eyes. It's coming from your brain's best guess. 90% of the time, that guess is flawless, which is why you can recognize a friend's face in a crowd in a fraction of a second. Your brain is, above all else, a magnificent pattern-finding machine. But what happens to a pattern machine when you take away the patterns? Here's a demonstration you can test right now in your own memory. Have you ever looked at clouds and seen a face? A car's headlights and grille that looked like it was smiling? A shadow on the wall that suddenly looked like a person? Stains on an old ceiling that formed eyes? This has a name: pareidolia. It's your brain's pattern machine seeing meaningful shapes, especially faces, in random, meaningless information. And here's the fascinating part. Your brain is so obsessed with finding faces that it has special regions dedicated to almost nothing else. Faces meant other humans, friend or enemy, safe or danger. For your ancestors, spotting a face hidden in the bushes a half-second faster could be the difference between life and death. So your brain became a face detector turned up to maximum. In daylight, with clear patterns, it finds real faces. But in the dark, with no clear patterns left to work with, that same hungry machine starts finding faces that were never there. So let's go straight to the dark room. The instant the lights go out, something dramatic happens inside you. Your most powerful sense, vision, which normally gives your brain most of its information, suddenly goes almost silent. Imagine a newsroom that received 1,000 reliable reports a second and now receives almost none. Does it stop working? No. It does something far more dangerous. It starts working with guesses, rumors, and fear. With no real visual data, your brain's prediction machine is left to fill the entire room from imagination and memory. And at the same time, the brain's ancient alarm center, deep in its emotional core, quietly raises the threat level. Its logic is simple and brutally old. I cannot see, I am vulnerable. Predators hunt in the dark, assume danger. So now you have the perfect storm: a pattern machine with no real patterns and an alarm system primed to expect a threat. Of course it builds a monster. It was practically designed to. Now here is the single most important idea in this entire video, and once you understand it, the dark will never feel the same. Imagine you're an ancient human walking at night, and you see a long, curved shape on the ground. It could be a stick, or it could be a snake. Your brain has two ways to be wrong. Mistake 1. You think it's a snake, but it's just a stick. You jump, your heart races, and a second later you feel a little silly. The cost? Almost nothing. Mistake 2. You think it's a stick, but it's really a snake. You step on it. The cost? Your life. Do you see the imbalance? 1,000 false alarms are cheaper than a single missed threat. So evolution built your brain with a powerful, deliberate bias. When in doubt, assume danger. Assume the shape is alive. Assume the sound means something. Every human alive today is descended from the nervous ones, the ones who jumped at sticks. The calm ones who ignored the shape, sometimes didn't get to become anyone's ancestors. Your fear of the dark is, quite literally, an inheritance from every survivor who came before you. But it's not only what you see. Let's talk about what you hear. In the silence of the night, have you ever been certain you heard footsteps? Or someone softly call your name? Or the house itself seem to move? Here's what's really happening. Just like your eyes, your ears feed your brain a stream of sound, and your brain is desperately matching every sound to a known pattern. In daytime noise, small sounds vanish into the background, but in total silence, every tiny creak becomes huge. And most of those sounds are completely ordinary. Wood and pipes expanding and contracting as the house cools at night, the wind, the refrigerator, your own heartbeat in your ears. Your brain hears these faint, patternless noises and does what it always does. It reaches for the most meaningful match it can find. And the most meaningful, most urgent pattern a human brain knows is another person. So a random creak becomes a footstep. A gust of wind becomes a whisper. You are not imagining things. You are simply a survival machine, doing its oldest job in a world that is finally quiet enough for you to notice. And now, the strangest one of all, that prickling sensation on the back of your neck that someone or something is watching you. Why does this feel so real? Because your brain has, perhaps, the most sensitive eye detector in all of nature. Detecting a gaze, knowing when another set of eyes has locked onto you, was a matter of life and death for millions of years. Predator or rival, a stare often came right before an attack. So your brain is tuned to err wildly on the side of caution. In the dark, in uncertainty, it will happily generate the feeling of being watched on the faintest hint, or no hint at all. It would much rather make you feel watched 100 times for nothing than fail to warn you the one time it mattered. That cold feeling on your neck isn't a ghost. It's a 400-million-year-old bodyguard doing overtime. So let's flip the whole thing on its head. The fear you've maybe felt ashamed of your whole life is actually a sign of a healthy, brilliant, beautifully working brain. It's not broken. It's just doing a heroic job in a world that today is far safer than the one it was built for. So how do you calm it? First, and most powerful, simply understand it. The moment you can say, that's just my pattern machine filling the gaps, the fear loses much of its grip because knowledge calms the alarm. Second, give your brain real data. A small nightlight, leaving a door open, even a little light gives the prediction machine real patterns to work with, so it stops inventing them. Third, name the sounds in daylight. That creak is the water pipe. That tap is the cooling roof. Once a sound has a label, your brain stops reaching for scarier ones. One last gentle note. A little fear of the dark is completely normal and human. But if fear or anxiety ever feels overwhelming or starts stealing your sleep night after night, please don't carry it alone. Talking to a doctor or someone you trust is a sign of strength, never weakness. So let's return to that dark room one final time. The creak, the shape in the corner, the feeling that something is there. Now you know the truth. There is something in that room with you. It's the most advanced survival machine ever created, refined over hundreds of millions of years, passed down through every ancestor who survived the night so that you could exist. It isn't showing you monsters. It's showing you how fiercely it wants to keep you alive. The dark was never the thing to fear. The dark is simply the moment your brilliant brain finally shows you just how hard it's always been working to protect you. So tonight, when you hear that creak, instead of fear, maybe try a small, quiet thank you. If this video helped you see the dark in a new light, share it with someone who still sleeps with the lamp on. They'll never look at that shadow the same way again. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.